Welcome everyone, and thank you for attending this Corrugated digital presentation. As you know, over the past few years, digital has grown significantly for Corrugated, and we expect that this will not just continue, but that it will accelerate significantly. My name is Jim Wagamer, Director National Accounts with INX International, and today I will be presenting with Gabriel Perez, Plant Manager for Bay City's Packaging and Design. We hope that you enjoy the presentation and that you take away at least one thing of value today. In 2019, we worked closely with Bay Cities, who were looking to make major changes to their digital platform and enhance their ability to provide world-class digital solutions for their customers. I will ask Gabriel to tell you a little about Bay Cities and explain the challenge they faced. Gabriel?
Thank you, Jim. For Bay Cities, one of the challenges was finding a press that could provide us not only the integration and touchless information transfer, but also continuous feed and a large format capability. We wanted to have a flexible front-end software solution that allowed for files to flow to our machine automatically. We needed excellent productivity and capability. Throughput was important, but it had to marry up with expected quality, of course. Reliability, consistency, and repeatability were key in the solution that we decided on. Superior print quality was a must. We run various display programs for a variety of industries, from toys to food and beverage. In my opinion, 6 colors at a minimum is required to hit that color gamut. We needed the ability to print several board types. We knew we wanted to print on uncoated white sheets, or as we call it, mottled white, and coated sheets, like Chemi, for example. But we didn't know what the future might bring and wanted to have the flexibility if it was possible. Maple board was another material that we found runs well and is a great alternative to plastics for outdoor signage. No need or desire for an overprint coating. We wanted the printed ink surface to have a good physical characteristics on its own. We did not want to have to protect it and have the added cost. Excellent rub resistance. We just couldn't have the ink rub off, especially as our products reach brands nationally. Best crack and chip resistance available. We have had great success with the die cutting, scoring, and converting with prints from our Barberan. No scuffing or scratching. In many cases, we switched and now die cut to the inside, saving us a lot of time and money, roughly 20 to 25 minutes per die cut setup and $30 to $50 in matrix cost per setup. Best in class technical support for primer and ink. This was totally new journey for us, and we wanted to be able to go down the road with the vendor partner who could help us, not one we had to drag along. The INX team was there with us every step of the way. We already had experience with scanning digital solutions. We have various printers, all from different providers. For this reason, having one RIP software system was helpful to run across multiple digital presses. These solutions were reliable and consistent. We had customers who were happy with our digital solutions, but to grow our business, we needed to be able to do more, much more. Very good quality was achieved with the scanning printers we have, so customers already had some level of expectation. Output was restricted though. We just couldn't produce any significant volume of product with our current equipment package. This was not a possible option for our need at this time because scanning printers could not output the volume we needed. When we started looking at other digital possibilities as far back as 2016, we believed that the right digital solution would open new doors and opportunities for us. In order to be a serious part of this new direction, we needed significant manufacturing capabilities. We determined that the potential solution could come from the right single-pass digital printer. We needed to have proven reliability and uptime. We couldn't be beta cities. When we were making the decision to purchase a single-pass digital printer, we were at the point where we needed to hit the floor running as soon as the installation was complete. We wouldn't have time to test unproven components or debug software, or hardware for that matter. We needed a proven solution that could run day in and day out. It was important to us for the printer to be of excellent value with a strong payback. We needed support and parts in the US. We felt we had to have resources on the ground in the US that could support us in the event of a need. We could accept larger support from the outside, but we needed to be comfortable with the printer resources we had here. Speed was as important of a consideration. As I said, we had a need to hit the ground running. The ability for the printer to produce at a good speed was a key part of this, as well as the ability to maintain quality at speed. Primer and ink should be made in the US. The primer and ink are such a key part of the entire digital solution that we felt very strongly about having a supplier partner with manufacturing here in the US. We knew that as we grew our digital business, there would be a need at times when the increased volume could be unpredictable. It was equally important to us that we had good primer ink combo from the same manufacturer, something that was not as available at the time. I strongly believe this has a lot to do with our printing success. Technical and technology support from primer and ink. The availability of digital technical support from our supplier was seen as important and beneficial, but it didn't stop there. The technical support would be a definite need, but we also wanted to know that the partner we would align ourselves with would also have a true commitment and involvement in digital technology, including very strong R&D. Looking for a partner with excellent value for primer and ink, as price was not the only factor. In looking at the market and available technology and equipment offerings, we decided that the Barberan Jetmaster was the best fit for our needs. With the Jetmaster selected, we needed to find the right ink and primer supplier to partner with. After careful consideration, we selected INX International. We printed small to big and mostly big. The Barbie is the beast that enables us to hit the display business with ease. We didn't buy this press for a majority of retail packages or replacement for flexographically printed solutions. All of those can be hit with this machine, but the mainstay business for this press is focused around 66 by 85 inches. To be able to print out to 200 inches and the upfront file automation opens up many opportunities we have not even thought about until now. Pre-installation meetings were held to make sure everyone was on the same page and all needs and expectations were understood. INX had experience in supplying to Jetmasters in the US, and that really helped us. When the printer was being tested and signed off at Barberan in Barcelona, INX supported us as part of our team, so that together we knew that what was capable and our people could start to develop a working relationship before the printer was installed in our plant. Several graphic designs were printed in various substrates and evaluated. These were a fair representation of the work we were going to need to produce on the printer once it was installed back in Pico Rivera. We needed to challenge the capabilities of the printer and the ink. We needed to see the quality of the printer we're looking for and also performance and characteristics. We were able to achieve great quality with no cracking. Again, our partner had to provide technical support, needed to be strongly committed and involved in digital technology, accompanied by strong R&D, and deliver excellent value for primer and ink. For these reasons, we selected INX International. I'm going to turn it over now to Jim so that he can expand further on how we work together for our success. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Gabriel. When the printer was being installed at Bay Cities, an Ink's digital technical support person was on site to continue our partnership. which had started when the Jetmaster was being tested weeks earlier back at the Barberan facility in Barcelona. We were present when the Barberan team got the printer started, and like the Bay Cities team, we listened to the steps and actions needed to achieve the desired outcome. We had done this before with other startups, but we were continuing to build our knowledge base and experience while assisting the Bay Cities team. The INX digital technician helped with assessing print and worked closely with Bay Cities on color management needs. Our solid understanding of color management allowed us to assist with specifics such as G7. After the Barberan team had left, the digital technician remained available for follow-up consultation and advice. It's difficult when there are so many new things to learn and the experts have just left the building. As many of us have experienced, it's like drinking from a fire hose. Our approach as a partner with Bay Cities was to provide the best product combination possible and augment this with technical knowledge and familiarity with the Jetmaster printer. Because we had done this a number of times and we had worked with the technical team at Barberan in Barcelona, we felt we could have a positive impact for Bay Cities. We were not trying to replace the knowledge and skills of the Barberan technicians. We were there to complement them in areas that related more to the primer and inks being used, as well as color management. It's important for everyone to remember that we are not the equipment specialists. Single-pass digital printers are complex and require expert knowledge from the manufacturer. Let's take a look at the products that are used. The primer and inks we offered were approved by Barberan for use on their Jetmaster. They had undergone rigorous testing in Spain to ensure that all the technical requirements were met. The inks had also been approved by the head manufacturer, which is critical. Extensive testing took place over several months to be certain that the inks were fully compatible with the specific print head that was being used on the Jetmaster. It's important to know that because a digital ink works well on one print head does not mean that it'll work well on another. The relationship between the inks, the heads, and the printer cannot be overstated. All of these components must function well together in order to achieve the desired outcome. Extensive R&D work had been done by Cicada Inks to ensure that there was a best-in-class relationship between the primer and the ink. Everyone expects that this will happen, but it doesn't happen on its own. Over many months, dozens of tests were completed in order to create a product combination that excelled. The primer is a water-based product that is applied by a two-roll primer unit. It is designed to be used directly from the container with no adjustments. It's also designed to clean up easily on the rolls and equipment. As with most Flexo products, it's always easier to clean up before you allow the product to fully dry. The inks are UV products designed to pin with LED light and finish cure with regular UV energy. This is a 6-color extended gamut solution using cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, along with orange and violet. The inks are manufactured with raw materials that comply with Swiss ordnance. This is the two-roll primer unit. There is a metal blade that can be lowered onto the metal roller to prevent primer from spilling off when the two rolls are rotating in a specific direction. The key advantage of this system is that you can vary the amount of primer you're applying. On the left, you see the primer unit positioned immediately after the sheet infeed. Primer is pumped from a kit and circulates back to the kit from the primer fountain. On the right, you see the ink trays in their out position. These collect ink when you are purging the print heads. These two pictures show the 10-liter containers the inks are supplied in and the ink pumping system that connects directly into the plastic container. The containers sit on scales which provide a warning system when the amount of ink is running low. Obviously, you don't want to run the system out of ink. Here you see the printer running multiple images on the corrugated board. So what were the key performance factors that were expected? The ability of the primer to work well with a two-roll non-analox coater unit was very important. In order to be able to work with a number of different liner boards, it was possible that various amounts of primer might need to be applied. If an analog roll system was used, then this would limit the amount of primer that could be put down. We also needed smooth lay of the primer on a variety of liner boards. It was important that the primer give as consistent of a dried surface as possible. After all, it is the foundation which the ink would lay on. Not an easy job to do when you're working on a variety of substrates. We needed excellent drying of the primer prior to jetting of the digital inks. You don't want a damp or wet surface when you're applying a UV product to it. We needed exceptional surface characteristics of the dried primer to accept digital inks being applied. The surface energy of the primer, the contact angle of the ink, the ability to create strong adhesion, these were all important. If the primer isn't right, it will impact how the droplets form and how the print looks overall. The inks had to jet cleanly and form consistent dots that would trap well as you build your colors. This is something that we expect to happen, but the primer plays a key role in this. Ink curing had to match the speed capabilities of the printer on various substrates, and the inks needed to be stable over time, providing for good shelf life. When an ink is a number of months old, it needs to print as well as it did when it was new. Now let's talk a little about what the expectations of the printed corrugated sheets were. Whether printing coated or uncoated sheets, the primer and the ink need to work together to provide excellent print appearance. The rub resistance of the printed sheets needs to be extremely good. We're printing higher quality work, and it's important that we have rub resistance that reflects this. Using a cut ink surface tape test, the ink should provide strong adhesion to the board surface. You do not want the ink coming off the primer or the primer coming off the board. If your tape test tears the paper fiber, that's fine. When die cutting and folding, there should be minimal chipping or cracking. You will likely see some difference between a flatbed and a rotary die cutter where chipping is involved. The idea is to eliminate or minimize any that may occur. All of these physical characteristics are impacted by how the ink and primer work together. This was very important in helping Bay Cities achieve the overall objectives. Wherever possible, cracking needs to be minimized or eliminated. These two pictures show printed corrugated sheets folded over, and as you can see on the edges, there is no cracking. This picture shows a tape test of a cut linerboard surface. Cutting the surface gives the tape more opportunity to adhere to the ink and represents a more difficult test than just putting tape on the uncut printed surface. You see two white areas. This is not where the ink has come off, but where the paper fiber is torn away from the linerboard. So there you have it. A brief overview of what was needed in order to drive a successful startup and ongoing print performance that exceeds expectations. As partners, we were able to share in the success of the single-pass digital installation and startup at Bay Cities. Every day, week after week, and month after month, high-quality digital print flows off the Jetmaster. In closing, let's look at a few more prints off the 1750. On behalf of Gabriel and myself, thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. Please contact either of us if you have questions or would like more information about the journey we took together.